Video games have become an addictive drug, and an expensive one at that. I love playing video games when I have the time, but I hate shelling out $60 or more for new releases every couple of weeks. So instead, I've decided to wait out the new releases, dust off my old PS2, and start playing some games I've missed out on. Here are some of the best hidden gems on the PS2. Friendly reminder, these views are mine and mine alone, and do not represent the opinions of everyone else on UzerFriendly. Number 5. Arc the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits. Arc the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits was released in the US on June 25, 2003. Arc the Lad is a series that wasn't really supposed to happen. When the creators came up with the idea, Sony Computer Entertainment said, nah, RPGs aren't very popular, and we need more platformers. Then, the golden age of RPGs happened. Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 were released, and people were going nuts. They wanted more of this strange, turn-based, story-driven series. To compete with Final Fantasy, Sony Computer Entertainment of America decided to go with the idea and created the Arc the Lad collection on the PS1, which got phenomenal reviews. Arc the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits is the spiritual successor to the collection, being the first title in the series to be released on the PS2. This game is absolutely fantastic. The characters are lovable, the plot is interesting, although a bit cliche, and the gameplay is pretty great. The humans and the Deimos hate each other and want to wipe each other out. You play as Karg, a human, and Dark, a Deimos, and go through both of their stories of finding the truth. This turn-based strategy RPG will keep you occupied for a few days. The game is pretty short and doesn't really live up to its potential, but it's still a great game to play and try out. Plus, you can find it on Amazon for about $5. What do you have to lose? Warning though, this game does feature some mature content. Number 4. Dark Cloud 2. Dark Cloud 2 is one of those rare games that's infinitely better than its predecessor. The sequel got rid of some things that plagued Dark Cloud, like the thirst system, and added a customization system that is to die for. There are so many different weapons and armor pieces you can build just by taking snapshots. It's got a really interesting plot that has to deal with time travel and rebuilding the world in the past to save the future. It's a really quirky game with a fantastic hack and slash type combat system. Warning though, this game gets very difficult. Number 3. Disgaea and Disgaea 2. This series is well known amongst RPG fanatics, but strangely, a lot of people still haven't played them. Disgaea is a turn-based SRPG that prides itself in its characters and lighthearted plot. The game is centered around demons and fighting your way to the top of the food chain. Either game is great to pick up on the PS2 or on the PSP. You'll laugh your butt off at all the corny jokes and the great chemistry between all the characters. The games do have a pretty difficult leveling curve, but with the small amount of grinding, you should be able to tackle it. Warning, these games also feature some mature content. Number 2. Final Fantasy X, X-2, and 12. The renowned Final Fantasy series hits the PS2. Boy, are these games great. Final Fantasy X features a great cast of characters in the traditional style Final Fantasy combat system. The plot will leave you in tears and wanting more. Oh, but there's more. The sequel, Final Fantasy X-2, features a job-based combat system with only 3 playable characters, Yuna, Riku, and Pain, but it's still a lot of fun to play and answers a lot of the questions that its predecessor left, though not very well. Final Fantasy XII is the final game on the PS2, creating a completely different pseudo-turn-based combat system. It's kinda hard to get used to, but it does get pretty comfortable after a while. The game has a huge spike in difficulty after a while, and there's no definitive way of grinding. The game has been sitting on my shelf for years, and I've still yet to finish it because of this. But hey, if you can make it through all of that, it's a really great game with lovable characters and a really interesting plot about politics. Also, Final Fantasy X and X-2 got remade on the PS3 and PS Vita recently, so it's a great excuse to try it out. Number 1. Shadow of the Colossus. This game, just play it. I promise you, you will not regret it. Shadow of the Colossus single-handedly changed my entire perspective on video games. You play as Wander, as him and his horse Agro search the land to defeat the Colossi and save Mono from her eternal slumber. The plot is a bit cliche, but the twist at the end is definitely one of the best in all of video game history. People to this day still analyze what actually happens at the end. There's barely any dialogue and little direction. There are no enemies around the world map, and there is no one else to talk to. So why is this game so good? The Colossi. You climb up gigantic bosses made of stone, moss, and magic, and find their weak points to kill them. Every Colossi is different, and it's a puzzle in and of itself on how to defeat them. Honestly, this is one of the best games ever created. If you haven't picked it up, you definitely should. You can get it on the PS2, or you can play the remake on the PS3 with its predecessor Ico, whichever you'd prefer. This game is the perfect example of having a great plot without flooding the player with long, drawn-out cutscenes or long dialogues of text. Once you finish this game, you will never look at video games the same way ever again. And that's my list for the top 5 forgotten games on the PS2. Don't agree with something on this list, or think I missed something that should have been there? Create your own top 5 list in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other stuff. And as always, thanks for watching.